Hello, I'm back again for the second part of this paper, which is Biology 5090, paper 1 for the year 2014. Okay, for the year 2014, a regular paper, not GCE. So I'm beginning from question 21 to question 14. Question 21, the diagram shows part of the spinal reflex arc. So just from this, you can tell this is your the cavity. I've forgotten its name, but cerebrospinal fluid is contained in this cavity, but is it the spinal canal? Should be spinal canal. The name has actually fled, but should be spinal canal. But this is our relay neuron. This is our sensory neuron. This is our synapse here, the joint. Sorry, I'm not even looking at the camera. That's our spinal canal, synapse, relay neuron. Then that's our sensory neuron, and then effector neuron. Then this is our spinal nerve. Okay, spinal nerve. So what path is taken by an impulse in a reflex arc? Of course, it has to come from the sensory. 3 has to be number 1. Then it has to jump a specific synapse. So 2 has to be number 2. Then flow through the relay or interneuron. 5. So 3, 2, 5, 4. 3, 2, 5, 4. That's our answer. You have to go through this from your topic of nervous system, and you see why I've said 3, 2, 5, 4. 1, that's the spinal canal. It contains cerebrospinal fluid. It has nothing to do with relays and spinal reflexes. I get to question 22. Okay. I'll be flipping pages so much, but never mind me. Number 22, the diagram shows a section through the human eye. Which part contains rods and cones? That's the retina, which is A. The retina, which is A. B, that's the sclera. C, that's the optic nerve. And then D, that's the choroid. But otherwise, A is the retina, which contains photoreceptor cells. Number 23, what are the functions of the structures labeled PQR? R, that's for reasoning, the conscious, mathematics, chatting, talking, reasoning, high-level reasoning. And then Q, that's the brainstem where you find the medulla oblongata. And then P, that's the cerebellum. Okay, that's the cerebrum, cerebellum. Okay, so let me just get to the answers down there. My answer was P, that is a control of posture and balance. Okay, and then Q, that is for control of heartbeat. Then R for thinking. You have to go through the functions of the parts of the brain, but that was my conclusion. PQ, I mean this one, no. Control, no. So my answer, the most appropriate answer was B. Okay, we'll get to question 24. Sorry. The diagram below shows 3 different organisms. Okay, the cockroach is back. I don't know what his name is, but he's back, people. So 12, not drawn to scale. 1 is a goat, 2 is a roach, 3 is an earthworm. What type of skeleton is found in each of these organisms? This is an endoskeleton animal, exoskeleton animal. This is hydrostatic. It has no bones. So my answer was A. 1 is endo, 2 is exo, and then 3 is hydrostatic. Question 25. The diagram shows a section through a joint. This is a synovial joint. Okay, synovial joints, mostly we just look at the ball and socket and also the hinge, but they both fall under synovial joints or movable, freely movable joints. Generally, joints are divided into 3 types. We've got the movable, the immovable, and the slightly movable. Okay, so this one is a movable joint, meaning it's a freely movable joint, and its type is actually classified as a synovial kind of joint. So here, if I remember, get closer, this should be our ligament, which is made of protein, fibrous protein, which holds the 2 bones together, or holds the joint, or creates a capsule that holds the joints together. Then D should be cartilage, whose function is to absorb a shock, and apart from that, it is soft and flexible, and it is smooth, therefore prevents friction. And then C, which is this part here, this is a synovial fluid, which is actually a fluid which lubricates the joint in there. Then B, of course, is a bone. Which labeled part prevents dislocation of the joint? My answer was A, which is the synovial capsule, okay, which is made of ligaments, fibrous ligaments that hold the two joints or the two bones in position. Our answer is A. Number 26, the following are events which occur during sexual reproduction in plants: fusion of the male and female nuclei, disposal of seeds, germination of pollen grains, transfer of pollen grains from anthers to stigma, formation of seeds from ovules. The question is, in which order do these events occur? In which order do these events occur? My answer was B. We begin with 4, transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. The number 3 follows, germination of the pollen grains, meaning growing or germination of the movement of the pollen grain from the stigma into the flower as it grows towards or maybe as it is being channeled towards the ovary. That's what this germination refers to. Then 1, fusion. So after growing inside, it settles on top of the stigma, then grows inside. That growing inside, or maybe not really growing, but that germination into the stigma is what you call germination of pollen grains. Then it reaches the ovary and then fusion occurs. Therefore, 1 follows. Then number 5, formation of seeds, okay, which of course have embryos. And then number 2, dispersal of those seeds, which later on grow. So my answer there was B. That is your grade 12 reproduction topic. I flip. Okay, so question 27. What type of sexual reproduction is illustrated in the following diagram? You look at that one, amoeba, and then it's here, then comes here, then splits to form 2 of those daughter cells that are genetically identical with each other and the parent cell. That type of reproduction is binary fission. Binary just means 2, bi for 2. So binary fission. Number 28, the following diagram shows the female reproductive system. For the love of science, we do these things. Okay, so that's the female reproductive system with that label X right there. What is the function of the part labeled X? That's the ovary. Apart from releasing or a site where eggs are manufactured and are released, it also produces hormones, progesterone and estrogen. Okay, it produces hormones, and then it's a site where eggs are manufactured or produced and released from. But among the answers here, the best answer is production of gametes and hormone secretion. Actually, I've mentioned both. So gametes are simply sex cells. The word gamete, not garment, like the garment in the Bible. And he took off his garment. No, not that one. But gametes. This term refers to sperm cells and eggs or oocytes. So my answer there is B. Production of gametes and hormone secretion. I flip them pages to 29. Which type of production and which type of cell division produces nuclei with half the number of chromosomes? Type of production, sexual. And then type of division, meiosis. Okay, meiosis. My answer here is C. Meiosis produces nuclei that have half the number of chromosomes. 30. The diagram below shows the woman's menstrual cycle. On which day is intercourse most likely to result in the woman becoming pregnant? Okay, my answer here was what? I didn't resolve this one. Okay. Give me just 3 seconds. It ends. Okay. I'll give you this as a homework, but otherwise my take would be D. Excuse me. My take would be D, because around these days, if there's no fertilization, then if a couple of days will follow when the walls of the uterus will still be intact, and then finally they will break down towards the end, then finally discharge will simply occur and the menstruation will take place. It will go on up to day number 5, then the uterus begins to repair itself, and then by day 14, the uterus of course will be still be in the process of repairing itself. And so my point is, fertilization doesn't take place just on one day. Usually it may be, ovulation may take place in maybe 2 to 3 days. So there's usually a number of days here. And then semen can stay in a woman's body for about 3 days to 4. So usually the most region in this chart where fertilization is very likely to take place is in these days. And apart from that, although the cycles are never really consistent, but it's around this area. You do your mathematics, do your research, and then you can prove me right or wrong, but I think I would go for D for now. 31, what is the advantage of passive immunity? It gives immediate protection. Passive meaning you don't take part in it. You're just given, either you're given white blood cells or you're given something that will boost your immunity, will fight for you, something you didn't take part in creating. So passive means you are passive. You're just given, either through breast milk or through, a blood transfusion. So it gives immediate protection. That's the answer. It doesn't take time for you to generate it. It's already made. Then they give it to you. Then you respond by fighting disease using that immunity you have just been given. My answer is A. 32. Question 32. Why is a cholera patient given oral rehydration salts, ORS, to help prevent dehydration of the body? To help prevent dehydration of the body. My answer there is A. I flip them pages. 33. The following food chain, the following is a food chain. We've got a mopane tree, caterpillar, small bird, and then owl. In this food chain, which population has the greatest biomass and which one has the largest population size? Excuse me. My answer was C, largest biomass. Trees are many and trees are heavy. Okay, so biomass. Then the largest in population size are the caterpillar because they are the smallest. On one tree, you may find maybe even 300 caterpillars feeding from one tree. Okay, and those 300 caterpillars, you find that one bird, maybe by mass, is equivalent to 20 of them. So my answer there is C. You have to go through your biology, ecology, check out biomass, check out the numbers, pyramids of numbers and all those things, and you see what or why are to conclude C to be my answer. Otherwise, mopane tree have got the largest biomass, then caterpillars have the largest size. If caterpillars are few, small birds will have nothing to eat and they'll starve. So the caterpillars have to be many to feed the birds, and the birds have to be many or more than the owls to feed the owls. Okay, so my answer there is C. 34. Which part of the carbon cycle involves the release of energy from food substances in all living cells? B. Look at this. Carbon compounds in animals, carbon compounds in plants. This is respiration, so it involves release of energy from food substances. So my answer there is B. Question 35. A gardener planted some vegetables in a garden on the bank of a stream as shown in the diagram. At first, the vegetables grew well, but after a while, they died. Which of the labeled sources of pollution is most likely to have caused the death of the vegetables? So that's the gardener. With the gardener, farmer spraying fields, direction of the stream. That's the garden right there. There's a factory. Then they're asking which of the following sources could have caused the death of the poor vegetables. My answer was C. This factory has a way of discharging its contents into the river. The garden is here. We could have said sewer works or something here, but look at the flow of the water. This sewer outlet is after the garden. So the only thing that could have affected this garden is either this or that. But again, farmers spraying fields with pesticides to kill insects. There is no shown indication to show that the pesticides had a way of flowing into the river or something. So my answer was C, which would be effluent or discharge from the factory, is our main suspect there. Number 36, which of the following correctly identifies the distribution of earthworms in the garden given the types of soils? Clay soil, yes, there'll be few because of less organic material for the worms to eat. Loam soil, there'll be many because loam soil has got a lot of organic substances in them, insects and the like, excuse me, then sandy soil fuel, my answer would be B for 36. This is from the topic, the small topic soil. 37, a pure breed white mouse was crossed with a pure breed black mouse. Pure breed. All their offspring were black. When one of the offspring was bred with a pure breed white mouse, they produced 10 baby mice. Are they also called babies? Okay, baby mice. What are the most likely colors of these mice? Okay, so you have to create some kind of cross. I didn't make it here. I'll simply do it right now. So they're telling us pure breed white, meaning homozygous white. Then this is homozygous black. After they crossed them, all their offspring were black, meaning the white gene was weaker. It couldn't express itself in the heterozygous combination. So we've got, we'll say we're going to use capital. We're going to use black as our capital. Then we're going to, this is white. This is our black. This is our white. Oh, they are homozygous sign. So we're going to say this. So this is pure black. Then this is pure white. If you combine this, you're going to have something like this. This will be the offspring where you have this kind of heterozygous combination where all of them are black, because this one is a weak gene. From the information we are given, all their offspring were black despite this being a pure white mouse. And then they're saying when one of the offspring, okay, was bred with a pure white mouse, they produced 10 baby mice. So one of these offspring is bred with a pure white. So the second one is going to be one offspring with this kind of genetic composition was bred with a pure mouse. Excuse me. The results will be B, and B will give us this combination. B and B will give us this combination. Then this B and this B will give us this combination. This B and this B will give us this combination. When you look at this is black. Okay, heterozygous black, homozygous white. This is pure white. This is black and this is black. But these two blacks, or these two black mice, are actually carriers of the white gene. So this is going to be 50% black, or 50, and then 50% white. So if these mice had 10 babies, what are the most likely colors of these mice? 5 will be black and 5 will be white, just like here. 50% black, 50% white. Yeah, I hope that's clear. 38. The diagram below shows the inheritance of albinism in the family. Albinism is caused by a recessive allele. What are the genotypes of parents 1 and 2? 1 and 2. Look at this arrangement here. Look at the key. Albino male, normal male, meaning someone with a dark skin or a skin that doesn't show albinism. And then this is the normal female. Then albino female. So these are the parents. You can only have albino children if you are heterozygous, meaning if you are both carriers of the gene that codes for albinism. The gene that doesn't code for the formation of melanin. So the only combination that can bring about this albinism, albino male, albino female, male, female. So the only combination here is the C here. Okay, this is the only combination that can bring about children that might be albinos. And again, when this A combines with this capital A to give you a normal skinned person. So my answer there is C. Number 39, second last question. Which of the following genetic disorders is an example of chromosomal mutation, Down syndrome? If you follow me very well, if you follow these questions very well, you'll realize that these are just repeated. Down syndrome. This is a genetic mutation, chromosomal mutation. I think Down syndrome is caused by a mutation where you have an extra 21st chromosome, chromosome number 21, an excess chromosome, mostly it's chromosome number 21. So my answer there is C. Number 40, which is the last question in this paper. The following are some of the details of John's medical records. Blood group O, height 1.68, weight 81 kilograms, sex male. What types of variation match with these details? Continuous variations are those that vary, okay, that have got intermediates. These are characteristics that have intermediates in a given population. While as discontinuous variation, these are characteristics that have no intermediates, like blood group type. You're either O or you're something else. You cannot be half O, half this. It's either it's O or it is something else. Okay, so this is a discontinuous variation. This one, people's heights vary. It can be 1.1, 1.2, 1.6, 1. So this is a continuous variation. Weight, continuous variation. Male, you're either male or female. So 4 and 1 are discontinuous. They have no intermediates. Then 2 and 3 are continuous. They vary with time. They vary from person to person. So my answer here was B. I end here with this question, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember to subscribe and maybe just like and share. Bit by bit, we'll cover as much as we can. But from me to you, I say bye-bye for now.